Welcome everybody. My name is Steve Kuchin. Welcome to the Celluvation Saturday training. I really appreciate you being here. I'd like to introduce you to a product line from the company called Celluvation. And before I do that, I'm going to have to do a little bit of housekeeping here. The statements made in this presentation have not been evaluated by the FDA. Nothing on this presentation should be construed as diagnosing, prescribing, or treating disease. It is presented for education only. We must legally warn you that if you are ill, have any disease, are pregnant or nursing, you should consult your medical doctor before attempting any natural or herbal program. Josh Daniel, he's the creator of the Celluvation products. Very interesting guy. This guy is an absolute genius. I love working with him. Very creative spirit, and he has a good heart. He wants to help mankind. When he started this product line, and we're going to be talking about youth crystals today, he could have easily made it $100, $125. But for our distributors, if you buy just one jar, it's $50. And the reason he did that is because he wants to get this product out to the masses. Josh spent 3 years in Southeast Asia researching natural herbs and botanicals. Our youth crystals are made in an FDA-approved manufacturing facility in California. And these are very famous doctors having to do with energy medicine. One of these doctors, his name is Dr. Oshman, says cells in their body are very sensitive to energy fields. And that's what we have. We have a delivery system, a matrix of food. Actually, I really like how our tea tastes. It comes from Africa, made out of baobab fruit, acerola cherry, and lysine, proline. Glycine is one of the main constituent elements that produces collagen in it. Rooibos tea, and it has their frequencies, and we'll get into the frequencies of hydrogen, collagen, and so forth. I'll give you a little bit more on that as we go. The importance of this is that when we give our bodies frequencies, our bodies respond to frequencies that are in their environment. Bruce Lipton took 3 petri dishes of the same medium and put in their multipotential stem cells. But listen to this, folks. He put different mediums in each one, right? So different these stem cells were exposed to different mediums. And what happened? One turned into fat, one into muscle, one turned into bone. This is called epigenetics. Is the environment controlling our genes and how it works. This is an example of how our cellular signaling system works, and signals the receptors on the surface of the body send a signal to our genome. The genome produces all different kind of protein molecules in order to do rebuilding the body and reproducing any kind of cellular damage. DNA is controlled by signals from outside the cell, even energetic messages emanating from our thoughts. And we're going to get into a little bit more about how we think today. And I think these are wonderful products. You see how we have a depiction of this hand imbuing the body with our frequencies. That's exactly what we're doing when we're consuming these beautiful energy crystals. Our products are a combination of physics, computer science, and chemistry. And this is what our product is made out of: organic baobab fruit, or rooibos, acerola cherry, silica from bamboo, silica from horsetail. And then also these crystals has a frequency of 191 amino acids, which help in the compaction of fat in your body. Okay, it also helps including the bone growth and development, and especially for the elderly, so the bones are stronger. Glutathione, the master antioxidant in the body, which the liver just loves utilizing. Vitamin C, hydrogen, and collagen. These are frequencies we have imbued. Now, these produce a beautiful intestinal flora. These villi are the key to your absorption of nutrition, and the key to 70% of your immune system is involved in here. So our product directly affects 70% of the immune system. These are beautiful baobab trees. Look at the girth. Look at the life force in this tree. You know, if you look from Chinese medicine, this is like unbelievably strong. This is what the pod looks like. It hangs on the tree for about 6 months, dries there. It doesn't need any kind of preservative, and it could last 2-3 years without any kind of preservative. women use this in Africa, have turned to it for natural source of health and beauty for decades, maybe even centuries. It looks beautiful. Doesn't that look natural and wonderful? It looks like actually like a marshmallow. Rooibos tea. The benefits of rooibos, it adds weight loss. This is what we have in our product. And this is the yin and yang of our product. We have the big, stocky, huge, girthy tree, and then we have the skinny, wiry plant here. So we have a little bit of Chinese medicine well, actually a lot of Chinese medicine in our product in relation to the philosophy of products and their power. And this is the power that we have observed. This is a doctor. I met her when I flew to Ukraine. I gave a conference over there. Gorgeous doctor. She is, her heart is big, awesome individual. And she, in 2.5 months, this is what happened just using the youth tea. This lady, 2 weeks on the youth tea, the first 2 pictures, and then the last picture, we have also a gel imbued, a topical gel, colloidal silver gel that is imbued with different frequencies of those 191 amino acids I mentioned earlier. And also she used the youth tea the first 2 weeks. And we have Arnold here with the strongest woman in the world, Olga Lyashuk. She actually takes this tea. She is, and also that lady, beautiful lady on the right-hand side on the top, the bodybuilder, with that gorgeous sculptured body. She uses our tea also. Celluvation, cellular hydration is the major cause of disease. And this is very, very important. This is what happens when you have a dehydrated cell. This is what it looks like. Take a look at the membrane of this cell. You see all our cells, trillions of our cells are made of a lipid membrane, right? So if your lipid membrane looks like this, how in the heck is any nutrition going to get in there, or any debris and particles that, from metabolites are going to get back out of that cell after, it has oxidative stuff coming out of there, free radicals. How is it going to get rid of that if it has that kind of membrane? So our youth crystals adds to this plumping effect. It hydrates the inside of the cell. Very, very important, the hydration of a cell. We used a bioimpedance analysis tool that was done in Australia. And this is what we had, the ATM quality index. It was before. It means the quality of the muscle fiber. The ATM quality index it was poor, and the fluid balance was poor, and hydration. And this is 12 hours later start to increase the cellular fluid balance, and then this is 30 days later. This is 30 days later. Her ATM quality, the fibers of her muscles were excellent. The cellular fluid balance was excellent, and the hydration, actually she had to consume less fluid in order to get better hydration. And the important part of this is the takeaway here. This is the important part of our cellular crystals, folks. Hydration, hydration, hydration. 5% increase in hydration went from inside the cell, intracellular hydration 53 went up to 58, and 47% went down to 42% on the outside of the cell. This is so important. People with edema and that type of things, swollen legs, swollen ankles, these people are dehydrated. Even though they get a lot of water retention, the cellular structure is not working correctly. And also the subject longevity index increased, and the larger the longevity index, the better it is. So you have, when the subject longevity went from a 33.5 to a 44, and her heart rate also decreased. So her heart actually was working less, and there was less stress on the heart. Now this is important, folks. When you're taking the youth crystals, take them not with cold water, because this is what happened. We had ATM quality index, and the cellular fluid balance was poor. It was average ATM. When you do it with warm water, take your crystals, the one gram of crystals, you put it into 8 ounces of warm water. That warm water will all be energized with the frequency, and will be having those frequencies that we imbue in our crystals, because water activates these frequencies. And so drink it within 10 minutes of taking, and also cellular fluid balance was better. Here's a testimony from a lady. was taking, and this was her body fat index went from 44 to 23%. Muscle mass went from 52% to 71%. And metabolic age, really important, folks, went from 80 to 50. And I get constant emails and testimonials from people. It would take me, a couple hours to get through all the testimonials, all the people that are just learning about this, right? And the benefits of hydration: improved muscle fuel production, fluid balance, everything is improved. Joint, it greases our joint because you have actual fluid in that joint cavity, actual water. So this is really important. We have the frequency of hydrogen in our product, and what does hydrogen? It activates this thing called NRF2 pathway. This NRF2 pathway activates more glutathione, more catalase, more superoxide. These are beautiful antioxidants that you need. There is a ratio of free radicals and a ratio of antioxidants in your body, and they have to be in balance. Remember, there was a fad when the whole thing was take antioxidants, tons of them. Well, people are actually distorting their free radical balance, because we actually need free radicals. It's called reactive oxygen species in order to signal our immune system. It's an actual ingenious system where, let's say, if you have more free radicals in one area, like a sore knee or something like that, an inflamed knee that you just injured, more free, then the immune system gets attracted to that. So white blood cells go to there, protein goes to there, and collagen goes to there in order to rebuild that. So it's really important. And glutathione is the major antioxidant. I think everybody is very informed here on this call. It improves our liver function tremendously. This is the different form. Cellular hydration, hydration, hydration. This is what we need. This is why people end up in the hospital, because they're dehydrated. They're drinking soda pop. They're drinking this aspartame and these because they want to lose weight. They use these sugarless drinks, which is absolutely detrimental to your body. These sugarless drinks, and they should be drinking pure, clean water, and not out of the tap, because the tap, of course, has chlorine in it. And you should have either a filter system in your house, or you should buy good mineral water, from good mineral water from the store. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is I'd like to get into the talk about now. If there's anybody new that I was too nervous to tell me that they're brand new on this call, I just want to make sure this next part is for the distributor who wants to make money. And we're going to be talking about what it is, and we're going to be talking about the basics of that. And it was interesting. I'm a fan of martial arts, and I love watching films. Yesterday, I went on to Netflix, and I was watching a film about Bruce Lee. And and they were talking about, he went to this master, and everybody was practicing, these, and everybody was paired up and practicing the different katas and different moves and stuff like that. And in relation to their bodies and how to learn kung fu. Well, the master had Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was a very, if this is a true story, Bruce Lee was a very impetuous and very forceful young man, right? But he wanted to be involved in already learning how to spar with another individual and stuff. And the master took him to the basics, and he, for weeks, stood there in a horse position. A horse position is where you're standing with your feet apart, you're about the shoulder width apart, and your hands are in front of you, and also your knees are just slightly bent. And he stood for days like that. And what the master was teaching him was basics. So today what we're going to do as distributors, we're going to get really down to the basics of things. And we all here at distributors, we all want to make money. It doesn't matter how good our heart and intention is, right? It doesn't really matter if what happens if we're not making money with the company, because money is this energy that provides a sustenance for a family, pays for rent, mortgages, and everything like that. Without that energy, it is really hard to continue. And then, of course, when we don't make money, what happens? We find the next new shiniest object out there, and we all flock away like little birds to this next shiny new object. So where we had perhaps, where we were before, a possibility of actually doing something. So we're going to be talking about some basics. Now, I don't know if everybody was here on the call last Saturday or not, but I'm just going to go over this quickly. And we're going to be talking about the basics and how these things are interrelated. Now, this data comes from a philosopher called L. Ron Hubbard, this next two slides. And I'm going to be talking about this, and it's called what is called dynamics. Dynamics of existence, okay? Now, these dynamics are these urges that we have to survive and urges that we have to survive through. We're going to be talking about dynamics, we're going to be talking about money, and we're going to be talking about what actually money is and how money flows, okay? So bear with me here. So the first dynamic is the urge towards existence as oneself. This is called your self dynamic. This is you. This is your body. This is your clothes. This is anything that is personal to you. Your hair, your hairbrush. This is all your first dynamic articles, having to do with you. But basically, the first dynamic is you and your body, your mental beingness, your physical beingness, right? Second dynamic. And all these also, I want to indicate, all these dynamics are interrelated. They're actually interrelated with each other. So if there is one dynamic that is not doing so well, it's going to start and suppress the other dynamics. So what was the second dynamic? Is the urge towards existence as a sexual activity. It's the actual act itself, part A, it is the second, and part B is the family unit, including the rearing of children. This is called the sex dynamic. So we all have an urge for this particular dynamic to have children, to have sex, and to get into creation for mankind. So guess what? We get into the third dynamic now. Is the urge towards existence in groups of individuals. This is any group. This is our Celluvation group. Okay. This is our sorority club. This is your guys that you hang around with, watching football. This is your job. This is when I was doing my marine career, my ship, and the captain and the chief engineer and all those people. This is my third dynamic. So third dynamics are multiple of multiple flavors and different colors, right? So the third dynamic is very key in order to make money. Because guess what, folks? This third dynamic is where money comes from. I'll repeat that. The third dynamic is where money comes from. Fourth dynamic. Now, the fourth dynamic is the urge towards existence as or mankind, whereas one race would be considered the third dynamic, all races would be considered the fourth dynamic. This can be called the mankind dynamic. So the fourth dynamic, we have this urge. Now, when you become rich and famous in Celluvation, you're going to want to expand from your third dynamic into the fourth dynamic and give like donations to your charitable, your best charity that you want, to your church. You want to give, $500,000 check written out to people who are starving in Africa. You want to build your community. You want to do a thing for homeless, homeless shelters. Build a refugee camp in Somalia, or something on the fourth dynamic. Something having to do with mankind. You have this. I mean, rich people donate. Like Zuckerberg and stuff. They donate things to different charities and stuff. Anyways, you're going to having to do this. Usually, we're stuck somewhere in the first dynamic or the second dynamic in relation to our money flows. You see, we don't have that $500,000 in our bank account sitting around that we want to donate to something. Well, we're going to get into how come that might be. The fifth dynamic is the urge towards existence at the animal kingdom. And I just bought a brand new little puppy. She's not a puppy no more. Her name is Zoe. She's 4.5 months. Oh, she's just the love of my life. Every time I go downstairs after I wake up, she's dancing and prancing and wiggling around, and her tail is going. And this is the Fifth dynamic. So the fish of the sea, the vegetables, the beasts of the field, the forest, the grass, the trees, the flowers. This is called the animal dynamic, right? So this is important for us in order to survive, because our food source comes from that. It's really important because we like to eat. So you see how these dynamics start to interrelate. The sixth dynamic is the urge for existence as a physical universe. Has to do with anything like the stars up in the sky, the planet, the rail, the steel, the wood that your bed is made from. So the physical universe, the material stuff. Seventh dynamic is the urge towards existence as spirits, anything spiritual having to do with spirituality. Eighth dynamic is the urge for existence as infinity, is also called the supreme being, or the eighth dynamic is in symbol 8 stood on its side is infinity. Stood upright makes the numeral 8. This is called infinity or God dynamic. And I don't want to step on anybody's toes having to do with God or that belief of that. But it's a very important dynamic. As you see, so you have the first dynamic going through the second, the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. And in my opinion, as you grow as a being, you eventually get to the eighth dynamic. Now, here's a pictorial. Oops, I missed one here. I'm going to go here. Here's the picture of what it kind of looks like. So you're standing there, okay, and it grows outwardly, okay, grows outwardly. And each ring encompasses the other ring as you progress, right? So, definition of money. This is I think this is probably the most important slide, maybe, well, for sure in this presentation. If you really understand this slide here, this is going to be the key to your whole success. Let's get into this. Definition of money. This is by L. Ron Hubbard. Money is the measure of the amount of attention you are attracting. So you take a look at the amount of money you have in your bank account right now. The surplus, what I'm saying, the surplus in your bank account, like your balance right now, after the 30th of the month, you paid rent and everything, whatever you have there, that is the amount of attention you are attracting. Now, this is another one important line. This is not from L. Ron Hubbard. This is actually from my wife. She taught me this. Energy flows to where your attention is at, not where your intention is at. Energy flows to where your attention is at, not where your intention is at. I'll give you an example. A mother, single mom, she's worried, she's on social assistance, right? She's sitting there cutting coupons at home. There's nothing wrong with cutting coupons. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disparaging anything about cutting coupons. But where is her attention at? She's worrying about saving like 50 cents or $1 or $2 or $3, right? So this is a very powerful being, this mom. Except what has happened because of fate, because maybe her husband left her, and he was a jerk, and he was the breadwinner, and now she is a single mom through no fault of her own. This is an example. Maybe this is a poor example, but so what happens is now one day she said, "Well, I'm tired of cutting these coupons. This is really upsetting me." And she she goes on to, let's say, a Celluvation Saturday training. And she sees like an opportunity here, and she knows she wants to help people because she's in good health. She's exercised and everything. She look care, and her mother is sick, so she brings Celluvation to her mother, and she starts to get her attention out into the world. Remember, the third dynamic is where your money is generated, right? So here's another thing. Oh, I want to build this business. I want to blow this thing up. Oh, this is fantastic. This is Celluvation is out of this world. The products are, I'm losing weight. This is fantastic, right? But man, does the comp plan suck? I can't get any big builders to take a look at this comp plan. The comp plan, absolutely. Where's this attention at? Where's your attention at? Your attention is not at going out into the world and looking at and getting this beautiful, we have something really happening here. having a new comp plan being put in. Okay, hopefully, maybe it might be even this month. The update, I can't give you any updates. I'm waiting just as you are. If I had any updates whatsoever, I'd give you a hint. But when it gets here, it'll get here, and we'll see it. Right now, we have a parallel website that is actually running the numbers, making sure everything is working correctly, and all that. And it's parallel to our website. So when that happens, the switch is turned, and then we'll be giving some notice to us about it, and then we'll get into it. But for example, that would be another example. Where's your attention at? Oh, I want to build this business. I want to create this Celluvation. I want to blow up my team. Gets really excited first 2 weeks. Blows through his warm market. Gets his 5 or 6 main distributors that he pulls in with himself for every other MLM that he's ever been in. Gets his 5, and then where's the attention at? Well, he's run out of promotional terminals to talk to. Or wait a minute. Again, that's a third dynamic. You're looking at the third dynamic. So where is his third dynamic? Well, it becomes non-existent after gets through his warm market. In his mind, it becomes non-existent. So where's the attention at? Oh, well, now because of COVID, I'm going to be sitting and watching football reruns instead. Or better yet, just wait a minute, that bar opened up. COVID, that they let California let the bars. So I'm gonna go and have a beer with my guys. I haven't had a beer for 3 months with them. All right, where the guy's attention at? How much money is going to be generating? So energy flows where attention is at. Even a prime athlete, okay, which goes out in the world in the Olympics, if they're groomed to have their attention on their run, and that it's not about family problems, not about issues, energy flows to where your attention is at. Simple. And those two things, guys, is the key to growing a business. Now, the Celluvation business is an important business for me because I think I've been studying health since 2004, since my son passed from brain cancer. And it is one of the most important products that we have in our civilization today. I'm not saying that this is the only one that is ever going to be or ever going to be created, but this is the one that I know right now, to me, is the most important to get out to the world. I mean, to get out to the masses. And I mean, not just like, for example, I have a group of 500 of distributors, or a little bit more now. This is nothing in the scheme of the world. It is absolutely nothing. We are very, very small, very fortunate beings to be in this spot here at this point in time. We have a product that kicks butt having to do with health. It changes people's lives really quickly, usually in 30 days. I will not see anybody coming in who gets youth crystals, who gets an Allure bracelet, and let's say, for example, our gel number 2. I don't see anybody in 30 days not getting a result and getting really, really, especially if they do a good before and after and they take their measurements. A good before and after, take your measurements, is really, really, really key. This is where we're at here. We have you, and we have the third dynamic. You see the third ring over there? That's where money is generated. Kardashians, did they have a problem with generating money? No. Why? Because they have attention. And I don't know what they know, but they have a lot of attention. And I'm not disparaging the Kardashians or anything, but they look pretty. They have clothes out there for sale. Everybody knows about them. Guess what? Their bank account balance is huge. So folks, get the attention of the third dynamic to you. Get into a relationship with your third dynamic. If you don't have a third dynamic, start creating one. Get on Facebook. Get your pack. You get your single pack that you have. Everywhere I go, I have my single pack in my car. I don't know who I'm going to bump into. I say, here's my card. Actually, I send him my virtual business card, and I give him a package, and I come back with him. So I get back with him. And also, follow up is really important. It takes about maybe 12 times, maybe with some individuals, before they bite. Actually, 12 contacts. It may take on one person. 1 or 2 contacts is not enough. It may take 12. And you'll notice if you just keep dripping on these individuals with an email here, or show them the latest result, or latest testimonial, or latest picture of a new person. Oh, this is what's happening, Harry. This is what's happening, Harry. This is what's happening, Harry. Eventually they'll come out and they'll look at it, and they'll take a look and they'll say, well, maybe I should try that, and they do so. Well, folks, this is what I wanted to talk about today. We went a little bit over, and I'm going to stop the recording now, and we're going to get into questions.